Si me dice que yo me estoy curando es la verdad. Y me dicen que vivo fantasía y zángana. Aunque me salga tan cara, algo tiene que me ampara. Es mejor que tu mentira, que me llenaba de ira y nada más.
We're supposed to be doing something here.
Oh.
Remember Crema de Nona? We're on the road.
Oh, I'm in a studio.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm in a studio and I want to sing. I've never been in a studio to sing.
So, since you're here singing in the studio, tell everybody what we're here to do, who we're here to see.
I'm here to sing and entertain everyone today. Oh, my name is Julio Aviles. Good morning, good afternoon. This is Julio Aviles with Gold Star Tattoo and Escrow. We are in a unique location, man.
We're out
really
and about.
On the road, man. What's your name?
Rob Hynes, here for Crema de Nona, and we are bringing you, again, we've been talking to you about our First Fridays. We are highlighting other businesses throughout Central Florida that are here doing work in your own backyard that many of us have no idea that they're even here. And believe it or not, we found a studio that will let him into the booth and allow us to do a little bit of recording here, but we're going to get deep down and find out what goes on in his studio, what they're doing, and we have something a little different. October, isn't that Latin Heritage Month?
Are we going to have anybody else on here? Because I hog up the studio.
Yeah, no, unfortunately they said you got to go, that they can't trust you talking into that microphone anymore. They need that to work for the real artist.
But I'm talking into the microphone and picture.
No, they said you got to go.
We're
getting to move. We're getting to move. Shut off the light.
No. We're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. No! The question is, are you ready?
I just want to know. Yeah, so this is Logic. It's this is the DAW that we use. The song it's playing is the What It Be Like that I mentioned in the show earlier. Yeah. Doing music digitally now is easy because we don't have to have a physical mixer anymore. And we're able to control everything right from here, from the computer.
What's going on, Crema de Nona? We are sitting here at Black Rose Studios, and of course I'm here with my buddy Julio Aviles.
Yes, Julio Aviles with Gold Star Tattoo in the house. Welcome to, this is a special one.
This is our Crema on the Road.
Crema on the Road.
First Friday.
Celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. So, I mean, I celebrate it 24/7, 12 months a year, you know, so. But it's great for the recognition, but this is kind of special for all of our Crema de Nona friends and business partners.
So, with that, take us away. What do we got here?
What do we got here, man? I don't know how this guy crashed our party. We don't mind having my man over here because, you know, he's probably back row. He's even wearing the colors and everything. But we got Tony, man. We got Tony in the house. Tony, introduce us to everything you got going on and your business partner on the side of here.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you guys for having us on the show. It's an honor, probably long overdue, but here we are. My name is Tony Delavora.
We just went to October, you know, Hispanic
Heritage Month, throw a little Latino in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Add a little sazon to the show. That's all good. My name is Tony Delavora. I own and operate an independent record label, Daville Entertainment, DavilleEntertainment.com. We do production, consulting, management, licensing, anything that has to do with music. And right now, things are really, really good.
And you're not new at this business, so give us a little background, you know.
A little background. I'll give you a nice little one. I started my career when I was 12. I auditioned for the Menudo. As you know, the Menudo pop group.
Did you dance like Menudo?
I tried to get my little dance on, but you know, of course, I was you know, Right now, I carry a third grader in my body, but back then I was, I was good. You know, we auditioned for Menudo. I was a top 3 finalist. We auditioned out in Trenton, New Jersey, and the top 3 was Ricky Martin, George Lamond, and of course myself.
Wow.
I ended up here on Crema
You
de Nona.
you let George Lamont and Ricky Martin beat you out just so you can come on Crema de Nona?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You should be honored, man.
So we very easily could be talking to Ricky Martin right now.
Or
Yeah, well,
Lamont, come on. Right?
George Lamond went on to be George Lamond. Ricky Martin went on to be Ricky Martin, and
That's it.
I went on to
Hey, bang.
write, produce. I went on to write, produce, and arrange. And long story short, I've been doing it for many years. I worked with Def Jam, Loud Records, Warlock Records, which I was signed to when I was young. Moved back to Florida a couple years ago, and actually teamed up with Ray and Black Rose, their company TSC, which is the Southern Comfort. You know, they do hip hop and R&B. And
Is
so
that the drink?
The Southern Comfort. No, it's the Southern Collective.
Oh, okay.
the Southern Collective. There you go.
Southern.
I should know that.
Southern Comfort.
But we teamed up, and so they kind of run the entire hip hop and R&B division through Daville, which is great. And then I'm actively working on the Latin urban, salsa, reggaeton, bachata, which I never thought I'd be doing, but it's doing really well.
Yeah.
It's doing really well.
So do you guys focus on a little more than that, just that, or is that more your guys' niche, staying with the hip hop, the R&B, and then getting into some of the Latin music with the bachata and reggaeton and all that stuff?
Well, Ray's got his solo project. So when we hooked up, his music was so good, it was just kind of a no-brainer for us. So it's almost 50-50 right now. It's really a 50-50 balance. Ray's got his album and Ewan.
Ewan's my Ewan's my business partner. We have a album we're actually working on, and it's going pretty well.
Yeah, I mean they're both solo artists, but they came together. And again, we got my little sister Bianca, who's a phenomenal R&B artist who was signed with Warner Brothers Reprise, and so we're working on her album slowly but surely with some great names behind that project. But I just thought that there was a need here in Central Florida for an independent to be bigger than what we already had.
Yeah.
And I thought that getting into the hip hop and R&B here in Central Florida would be a good thing.
Yeah.
So when we got together, we kind of exploited that. We have our distribution comes from the Orchard Sony, so it's not CD Baby, TuneCore, it's nothing like that. No offense to them, that's the minor. Anybody can get into those distribution platforms, whereas the Orchard is a different story.
Yeah, and CD Baby and that, those of you guys that don't know, it's a full DIY project that you actually get to pay them just like you would for anything else, but you do all the work. So I came up as a musician, and it's one of those things. Yeah, it's great for someone that's trying to at least get into something, but it's definitely not a substitute for somebody sitting here that knows what they're doing, that has done it daily, and really understands. I'm sure you're going to turn knobs a hell of a lot better than Julio might. I mean, Julio might surprise us, but I think when it comes down to it, you're going to make different adjustments, go for different sound qualities, different rhythms and that.
Yeah, we try to go for radio quality on everything we do here. Like, we don't want there to be any difference between the music that comes out of here and the mainstream music. Because a lot of artists, they do their own music and they record it themselves, and it sounds okay, but it has to be, like, there's a certain level that it has to be at.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of artists doing like self-recording. Like
I've
got my iPhone and I recorded this video on my iPhone.
There's some artists that are amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
But like, it's still just it's that extra polish, you know.
Yeah, and that goes with anything. And even if you look at a lot of some of the bigger recording artists that are out there, a lot of them have gotten away from your Sony, your Capitol, and all of that kind of stuff, so that way they can basically take control of their own music. And it's not that they were getting that much extra. They have a whole different reason for doing it. But same thing is, if you want to put the money, the effort, and the time to learn all this stuff, you can get all the equipment. You can set everything up in a room of your house or turn a house into a studio, or just like this. This is just basically a warehouse building that has been converted to a studio to do things the right way. But again, it's going to take some time. So it's not that you just flip a switch, download Pro Tools, and off you go.
Oh yeah, I learned that the hard way. I thought I was like, I'm going to spend all this money and I'm going to be good, and it's not like that.
Yeah.
So how did you guys form a partnership in this ever demanding industry where sometimes you can't even trust people that you work with?
That's a
very good question.
I mean,
So I met Ray at another office. We were at an office together. Ray was doing some IT work, and we were talking about music. And then I made it known to Ray, much to his offense in a way, that I wasn't, really up to date with today's hip hop music, even though I grew up around hip hop music, born and raised in the South Bronx. And Ray was like, you got to give it a shot. You got to give it a try. You got to be able to expand. And I was just like, today's music kind of watered down. It seems like everybody has their own recording studio at their home, pre-production. It's so watered down. Ray was like, well, you got to come listen to what we've got. And, me being open to everything, I was like, you know what, maybe he's right. Maybe I just got to listen a little bit more. And so we got together. I came to Black Rose Studios. We sat down and listened to his music. I was like, wow, much to my surprise, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
I'm right, you're wrong.
So after that, I met Ewan. We kind of all teamed up, gathered up, and liked where we were going. They, in turn, were also looking for some good distribution, not just DistroKid or CD Baby and TuneCore. And again, not that there's anything wrong with that, but that is for local artists kind of on a lower level.
Yeah, again, it is what it is. You get what you pay for when it comes down to it.
I explained to them that I had distribution through the Orchard Sony. And so that being said, they had the recording studios, they had some artists, I had some artists, I had the distribution, and it just seemed like a win-win. It really did seem like a win-win. We were able to put R&B and the salsa reggaeton that I was doing, kind of put it together. So now it's Daville TSC, with Daville serving as the parent company. And then if I've got any other issues with the distribution and the IT parts of it, I always come to Ray. Ray takes care of it, and we're on it. If we got to record, we record right here at Black Rose Studios. And they are open for business. They keep it more personal with the music, not just any artist can come through and record. So I'm sure you can elaborate on that.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's pretty much a private studio, but we do accept clients, but they kind of have to have a vision of what they want to do, because in the past we had some artists that would kind of do it like as a hobby, and like there wouldn't be a good representation of our work because they're not putting it on streaming services.
Do your homework.
Yeah, so if you're serious about putting your music out and actually putting it on the streaming services and promoting your music, come to Black Rose Studios.
Yeah, and well, that's the same as with any business. You better have a plan of what you're doing going forward, because this, you're gonna pay for. You can pay for what, 2, 4, 8 hours in the studio, but if you want to come in the studio and pay for 8 hours of time and record one song, maybe, I'd rather come in, knock out about 7, 8, 9 songs, a couple extras, take a couple different takes of stuff, and I mean, if you're going to pay for 8 hours, 8 hours it better be worth your time, So, but yeah, I've seen that a lot on the musician side, where a group of guys walk into a studio, think, oh yeah, we're in a studio.
That's a party.
But it doesn't. The studio does not make you what you are. So.
Right. That is correct.
But the studio will take something, I'm sure. So talk us a little bit about as far as like some of your recording process with the tools that you use, the DAWs and everything for setting it. So you can take something. So like Julio, when he's singing, when it's not absolutely perfect, you can make slight adjustments or tone quality and everything else that you can build. Can you talk a little bit on that side?
Sure. We have just about every popular DAW. We have Pro Tools, Logic. We mainly work in Logic because of some of the features that Pro Tools doesn't have. They do, like tape folders. We have a lot of artists that will record 40 or 50 takes. They might like one piece from an old take, or they might do better on the second half on the recent take. So you can merge all that together and like kind of to get the best product. You know, we have tons and tons of plugins for producers. We have the Waves Diamond bundle. So we stay on top of like all of the latest music creation software.
Excellent.
How long have you been doing it? You're pretty young.
Well, just like Tony, since I was about 12. I started out with
So you're 21. So I was like, no,
yeah, 21. No, I started out with a tape recorder, and I used to take the single cassettes would come with instrumentals.
Mm-hmm.
So I would play one on one, and I would press record on the tape recorder. That's how I would record my music.
We might need to do an explanation on what that is, because I don't know millennials don't know what that stuff is.
I want to talk about something. Okay, so for some of the video stuff that I'm doing, I actually just changed the interface I had that I used for live performance. So it was basically a block. I could sit down, run 18 channels into it, run it out into the PA system while I ran it into live, full. Tell them what a DAW is.
DAW. That is a digital audio workstation.
So that's basically what your old reel-to-reel used to be. Now it's all on that. So, but when I was getting that interface, I was talking with the guy, and there were a couple other musicians over at the store, and we were looking at the thing. It's like, my God, how far things have come just in the last 20 years or so. Because like you're talking about, I remember sitting in the basement with a couple guys, and you record the guitar, you record the bass. God, drums was a pain in the ass because you had to hope you got everything right. Yeah. But when you did it, like you said, you record it all into one, and they used to call it bounce tracks.
Yeah.
So you'd have a 4-track, which would turn into a 16-track because you'd record 4 tracks, put them all into one. You'd record 4 more, put them all into one, and then you'd merge it all together. So
you guys have a lot of catching up to do, because when I was younger, I had an 8-track.
that's a whole.
That's a whole documentary.
Millennials really want to understand.
They really want to understand.
Yeah.
Music used to erase some of those 8-tracks.
Julio, you just sent Google crazy.
Well, that's it.
So,
but it just goes to show you how music has evolved. You know, we did the vinyl records, we did the cassette, the 8-track, and then the cassette, and then we went MP3, then we went discs. You know, so it's really like evolved so much.
Now it's
like,
just only streaming.
It's just streaming, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing that I find the craziest out of all of it. So as instruments and everything else has evolved through all this time, how many programs on those things do you have that input that buzz or that feedback or some kind of recording that you would get from an old amplifier or an old instrument that you don't have anymore? So when you're looking for something specific to put,
hundreds of them. Like we only a lot of people when they walk in, they expect to see like the big boards and everything. And,
Right.
Like we have a MIDI controller, or a few different ones, but thousands of sounds, thousands of old emulations. They even have mic mods that you can make to emulate a old like U87 mic or anything. Like every type of hardware that gives you a certain type of timbre or buzz, there's a plugin for it. Just for it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So if I needed a guitar and I don't have a guitar, so we need a guitar sound. Can you?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Every single sound you need. I remember when I was first signed
13?
Warlock. When I was signed to Warlock Records, I was like 21,
Wow.
22 with our first album, our first single. And I remember being in the studio, and it was a 64 board track made by Mackie. You know, and you would take the tape out, and you would mark this instrument. Take the tape out, you mark this, and 64 track. And you had to raise the levels on each one and know how to fade them back and forth. And that was so very complicated. You know, back then it's not as complicated. You know, now it's all one computer, and you can do everything and get the best quality sound.
yeah.
You can. Where back then you had to get that quality sound. It's amazing.
And you mean radio sound, right? Not just studio sound. I heard that mentioned before.
Actually, your studio is still going to be higher quality than your radio would actually be. So as far as you're recording in the highest possible level.
Absolutely.
And everything coming out of you is going to be downgraded as it goes along the process.
Right.
Correct. As it gets into other people's hands, that is correct. That is correct.
So you talked a little bit about you do some other production in that. I know you mentioned bachata, and I will say one of my favorite guys, Juan Luis Guerra.
He is the Paul McCartney of the Latin music industry.
Exactly.
Without
I was
question.
listening to something with him the other day, and the way he has key changes in that within the music that he has, it reminded me actually of the Beatles. And those of you that do not know who he is, look him up. You may not understand what he's singing, but look him up. Listen to the music.
It's so pleasant to hear.
And did you guys know that he basically taught himself to get himself into Berkeley? He ended up with a full scholarship through
That's
Berkeley
correct.
School of Music.
Amazing. Juan Luis.
So-
Yeah, Juan Luis.
And he does the full gamut because and you guys deal with musicians and that, so they don't usually come in necessarily all of them writing their own stuff. But when you see stuff like that, you know the guy is. You don't just put
Yes.
random key changes in the middle of a song to do something just because, well, you might do it because you thought it was cool, but you're not thinking in your head that the song needs to drive this direction.
He
So-
he is without a doubt the pioneer, the best thing that's happened to Latin music in quite some time. When he stepped in, he writes, performs, produces, arranges all his own music.
Yeah.
And he's capable of playing just about every instrument as well, but he doesn't. You know, he focuses more on the songwriting, on the arrangements of the music. He's worked with some of the best in the industry. He's written for some of the best in the industry, and he's definitely an influence, much like Mark Anthony. And I can say that Mark Anthony just this past week went diamond on his album 3.0, which no other salsa musician has ever done. I mean, to get a diamond record, you got to be Michael Jackson, you got to be the Beatles,
Yeah.
you got to be really the Rolling Stones, you got to be on that level. And Mark Anthony has accomplished that. And talking about Juan Luis Guerra, we can't leave out Mark Anthony. I mean, 10 million records on one salsa album is without a doubt setting a precedent that most people just won't be able to reach. But it's amazing to see.
Yeah.
So on a local level, we're talking salsa. Now we switched from bachata to salsa. So I'm going to ask you a question, Tony. You know, I'm a big salsero. You know, grew up dancing 70s, Fania Records and all that back in the day, right? Fania was a label, name of a band, but you got an award-winning salsa band,
Yes.
and a lot of people used to say that salsa is dead, it's dying out. It's just like disco. Disco, they tried to do a disco demolition derby in Chicago back in the 70s. Look what happened to disco. So tell us a little bit more on salsa, maybe on your Orchestra Fuego, what you got going with that baby.
So we have Orchestra Fuego. You can see them at orchestrafuego.com. Find us on every single social media platform under Orchestra Fuego. The band started about 5-6 years ago under Marcus Hernandez. Marcus was signed to La Fania. He was with Fuego 66, I believe was the name of the band back in the day. He performed with Harlow and just a lot of greats. Well, then he moved to Florida and started Fuego. I joined them a little while ago, started managing them, signed them. Yes, a lot of people said that salsa was a little dead, but I don't think it was dead. I think it switched genres. It went into a romantic salsa. And then you had the greats like Eddie Santiago, Luis Enrique, Lalo Rodriguez, and they did that romantic salsa. And that kind of took away from the dancers, if you will. That club vibe. If you see all the 70s movies or movies like Carlitos Way, people they loved dancing.
Yeah.
That went away a little bit, and you still had your artists that did it, but it just, that type of salsa took away from that. Now it's back better than ever, and people want to dance. They want to dance. Central Florida is a huge market for that. Florida in general, Miami, but Central Florida has a huge market for these salsa dancers. We took over Orchestra Fuego. They're doing very well. We've had 2 Latin Grammy nominations. We didn't win, but we've had the nominations. We've won.
Well, that's like winning. Being nominated for a Grammy.
To be a local artist, yes. So now we don't consider ourselves local anymore. Now we are the largest independent salsa band out there because we're signed with the Orchard Sony under Daville Entertainment, and so just doing great things. Nominated for the Independent Music Awards, 3 of them. So the Academia Awards for Independent Artists, we've won 3 of those as well. So you know, we haven't won the big one yet, but just being nominated is a tremendous honor for us, especially being based out of Central Florida.
Yeah.
There's a lot of salsa bands here now, a lot of people doing great things, and it's been an honor, you know.
That's awesome. That's great stuff.
Yeah, and there is music throughout Central Florida. I mean, some of you have heard of Matchbox 20. They came out of here.
Yes.
You know, not to mention, you had some of the boy bands that came out of here as well.
And I worked with them. I worked with Transcontinental. That's how I got one of my careers started, writing for the Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys?
Just to throw that, you know, the plug in, I did write the song "My Love Is All I Have to Give" by the Backstreet Boys that went #1. So that was my song, written by me. And so it was awesome. Absolutely.
What do you say about the music genre? I mean, yours is a little bit different, right? Because
Definitely.
you're not doing a salsa thing, but have you ever done like a fusion?
I have a song called "What It Be Like" with a Latin artist. His name is El Django.
El Django.
And
He's on Daville.
Absolutely. And I like the direction that music is going into. Even since the Super Bowl, there's been a huge spotlight on the
Reggaeton.
on the reggaeton.
Bad Bunny and all these guys.
Definitely. They it's completely the future of music. It's good for the world right now.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to realize that urban music is here.
Yeah. Because you see a lot of, like I mentioned earlier, the fusion. You see, you'll have you may have a Mark Anthony, you might have somebody else doing Pitbull doing the same thing together. They're different type of.
Definitely. What I like about that is it introduces the genres to each other's fans.
Right.
So that's what's important about those crossovers.
Yeah. It's like I was just gonna say the crossover.
Yeah.
Herbie Hancock, he was a guy that's done that for years, where he'd sit there and get. It doesn't matter the genre. Carlos Santana was another guy. He was probably the biggest one to really go completely mainstream with merging the different types of musics with the artists, where he did with Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20, who's from here, and pretty much everybody else. But yeah, you see a lot of that, and music is amazing just in the feeling that it gets you from inside. And okay, just because you listen to your kind of music, I listen to my kind of music, he's got something else. It doesn't mean I'm going to buy every record that you have, but
correct.
but I'm sure at least and really, I think with life in general, if you go into it with an open mind, I'm going to find something that I like that you do.
Yeah.
I'm going to find something that I like that you do, and I'm sure I can find something out of everything that, you know. And you look at these guys with Santana and the Beatles and all this other stuff. Everybody knows who these guys are. They all came from different parts of the world.
Absolutely.
And they all came together because of music.
Music is one spoken word. And it's an amazing thing when you get to see people like Tim McGraw and Nelly do a song together. A hip-hop artist, and then you got a country singer, right? Just the admiration and the respect for each other speaks volumes. Cowboy Troy, African-American country singer, but he kind of raps a little bit. But the song that he did with, I forget the name of the band, but they did I did dumping on the train. I mean, it was amazing to see him work with them and put that together, even though he is a country singer, right? But he did some kind of like a rap overtone on the song. And just to see those collaborations is amazing, because music is evolving so much.
Well, how about it? You've been only 21, you might not remember. Remember Run DMC and Aerosmith?
Absolutely.
And that was back in the 80s, and that was huge, and it was crazy when it happened, because it's like, well, they do this and they do that. How can they do that together? But the same thing, what happened?
It was a tremendous collaboration. At the time, Aerosmith
Walk This Way?
had reached Walk This Way. Aerosmith had reached their pinnacle. They weren't as big anymore. Let's be fair. And then Run DMC got together with them, and then that resurrected Aerosmith's career. Again, they went on to do multi-platinum albums after that.
Yeah.
And it just, not because hip-hop did it for them, but just because the collaboration was so great, and it's about respect. When you see the respect between the artists, that's just amazing. To see Run DMC on stage with Steven Tyler and him doing his wild thing in his flip, and you can see, actually, if you watch the video clip, you can see Ron looking at him like, what you got going on right there? But it's just a testament to how beautiful it is. And then when they performed at the Grammys, the song it was even more beautiful.
And then you tie in business, marketing, and everything else. How many people you see wearing Adidas today?
True. So you know the story, and I'll make it really quick. But when Run DMC was wearing all the Adidas, they wanted sponsorship, and Adidas said no.
Yeah.
And so they went to Madison Square Garden to do a show, and then Rick Rubin, who's everybody knows is the great producer because he did punk rock, he did rock and roll, and hip hop.
He did Johnny Cash's final album,
Absolutely.
which was another collaboration where Johnny Cash took songs from all different genres. Remember the Nine Inch Nails?
Absolutely. So at the concert, Run DMC's everybody who's wearing a pair of Adidas, please put them up in the air. And they had invited Adidas to the show, and I promise you, 90% of the audience had their Adidas up in the air like this, and it was just like Adidas had to step in and provide the sponsorship at that point. But yes, it's.
But look at that now from this, because if you look at the Adidas story, it was kind of just going where it was. It wasn't what it is now because
it wasn't. And the Adidas story.
I remember Adidas. I played tennis when I wore Adidas.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it was like tied into one
thing.
Well,
they were two brothers that broke up. It was Puma and Adidas, and one brother went to run Puma, the other brother went to run Adidas, and they're still doing both brands are doing fantastic. But again, the collaboration with the music just put it over the top for Adidas. It was a great move. It was a very great move.
Yeah. So what else do you got going on? Because I know you got some other projects that you're working on as well. You got other shoots and that you do as well, don't you?
Yeah, so we just finished the Baila Mi Salsa video for Orchestra Fuego. Baila Mi Salsa, the single, dropped today on all digital platforms. We also got our reggaeton artist. His name is Dragon. He's known as Dragon, the new face, Dragon Music. We got some singles dropped on him. He's been picked up by Spotify as well, doing really well. So the Latin urban market is doing well for us. We're going to be doing a video for him in October here in Casa de Black Studios as well. So we're doing, we're doing a whole lot. My little sister Bianca, we've got songs, written by Neo as well for her, and so we've got her. We're taking her project a little slower, and hopefully that project, will take off. But she's a young Puerto Rican singer. She's 29 and just beautiful with a very soulful voice. It's just amazing, So those are the main projects right now. I got 2 more projects in the pipeline that are coming up. I haven't officially signed them, but they're coming up as well. So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Absolutely. I'm very happy for Daville and Daville TSC with the connection. Again, Ray and Ewan got an album that they're doing together. It's a collaborative album, and we're expecting that to be out soon as well. So we're doing, we're taking the right route, releasing single by single and not just releasing albums. These days it's not intelligent to release an album like before. You just put a whole album out there, let people pick. Now you can just do a single until you put it all together for one album. So we're doing some
even
great
back
things.
in the day, we had the little 45s.
The little 45s, or the big giant single record with about 7 remixes on it. One song was 10 minutes long.
Singles, EPs, they've been around for a long time. But yeah, you got that special piece of gold. Plus, those are the ones you get to hide away.
Yes,
and put out years from now.
Yep, I got a single album by a former rapper. His name is MC Search. He was with the hip hop group called Third Base, and before he joined them, he did a song called Melissa in Contact. Contact on one side, Melissa on the B side. That record is now worth $7,500. I got it autographed by him. He's a friend of mine, but you can't find it on Warlock Records, and I actually have the record, so I have the vinyl of it. But it just goes to show, that they do retain value after a certain time as well, those particular records. CDs probably won't, but vinyl.
Yeah.
Vinyl holds a value.
Now, speaking of the vinyl, do you guys do recordings down to vinyl? Because that seems to be making a comeback as of the last, 5-10 years.
If you know, vinyl outsold CDs in the year 2020.
I believe it.
Wow.
Vinyl. It was making a strong comeback. And if you go, even into Target or Walmart or any of these just places that you wouldn't expect it, you can find a record player. A Bluetooth record player, but you can get a record player.
If you go into Urban Outfitters, they actually sell vinyls there for you, because it kind of goes with the whole name, Urban Outfitters. But they sell records there. The reason why records don't sell as much anymore though is because DJs, when they're playing, they got the blank record. It's a blank record. The sound generates in or on to the record. So when they're DJing and they're scratching, that actual, it's like you have the record of that single, but it's a blank record that you can put any song on to that particular vinyl. That was a smart move on vinyl as well. So
plus, I'm sure it saves on needles and stuff like
it
that.
does.
It's, believe it or not, when I was a kid, my parents had an Oak Ridge Boys record, and you could make it do some funky stuff on it just by doing that. But let me tell you, when my dad caught me doing that, I
wasn't very happy.
No, I had some, my butt puffed up a little more than it usually was.
So this has been very interesting talking about music. You know, I know we had your friend, the guitarist, what's his name?
Andy. Yeah, check out Andy Costantini Entertainment. Again, and he does more of the band and the live musician on that part of it. But yeah, we've had a couple of things with music just right in a row, right here in Central Florida. I mean,
music's never going away.
No, it's always going to be there, and it's something that. And one of the things he was talking about, just how little things he does during the day. He'll try and play for retirement homes and stuff like that for the elderly. And I've played on many projects with him, and never in my life would I really think that would be a place to go to have a business in the music industry. But going in there, it's just like we've been talking. I mean, we're talking different genres, different eras, different everything,
But it's been a trial because I mean this year has changed so much of how we do stuff, right? So with this Heineken thing going on, you know, people have again we go back to adaptations. We've adapted, so they've come a long way in enhancing what their music is doing, and then your buddy, you know, doing the same thing with the assisted living facilities, and how happy it is to see a smiley face, or maybe even them nodding their head going along with the music. I mean it's just changed.
That's what makes it all worthwhile when you can
can
make something and you know it instantly touches somebody deep inside.
It does. It does. I mean, have you ever been just sitting in your car and an old song comes on and you go, wow, I remember when I was in college. Or, and let's be honest, I remember that girl I was with, or I remember my buddy, we were here. Or, you know, there's certain things that it just it takes you to a place that you know that nobody else can go, that only you have in here. Yeah, absolutely, it's an escape, you know. And I once heard Elvis Presley said, you know, because they used to take shots of him from here up on all his performances back in the day. And Elvis, he couldn't help it. He had to move, and he said, "If I can't move to my music, then don't put me on stage. I can't just sit there and string, and I can't." You know, exactly. Music moves you. You know, when you're really, really into it. The problem we're having these days is that a lot of people who are doing music don't know the history of a lot of music or the background of the music that they're choosing, and
or they're not doing it with the feeling,
the passion.
And I grew up in Chicago, so I grew up with blues, and that's one thing you'd hear from the old guys. It's like, you're not ready to play. You can't play it yet.
Correct.
I could note for note play everything exactly how they were doing, but that's where B.B. King, hands down, I think,
amazing,
the best feel playing guitarist there is. He doesn't do anything that's like, oh my God, that was how did he do that? He brings it to such a simple level where all it is feeling. Santana's a lot like that. Santana plays with a lot of feeling too, where you just get that. You can talk through your instruments, and that's what it is with the blues. A lot of the Latin music as well.
Absolutely, you feel it. It becomes part of what you're doing. Especially with, like I like to say with our band Orchestra Fuego, we usually get a lot of people that say, "Man, we feel your music. We let the music dictate how we dance. There's no routine to it. But when you go out there and you hear the music, you let that music dictate how you dance or how you perform or how you do what you do." And it's hard to find. And today, so many artists have watered down that feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's about and let's face it, social media has put a damper on that in many ways. Put a camera in front of somebody, they don't know how to act. You know, they think that they've got it going on. You know, all of their 3 viewers who are watching them.
Or they do, or they do Crema de Nona. You know.
But it has watered down. But I think Central Florida is offering a whole new vibe for music. I've never, and again, I grew up in the South Bronx. I went to college in Colorado. Colorado's music scene is huge. A lot of great
Colorado. I lived in Colorado for a while.
Great bands.
Yeah,
the Fray. Just a bunch of bands.
Oh, and if you get into the jam scene, I mean, it's
Mhm.
Red Rocks. Red Rocks is
Absolutely.
like the central haven for any of your bluegrass, jamgrass, or any of that kind of stuff going
And I
through.
performed at the Red Rocks Amphitheater.
I haven't performed it. I have been on stage there, but I haven't
I
performed
got to
there.
open
So.
up for new
Why you
kids on the
talking
block.
about grass in Denver? I don't get it. Where's the correlation there?
No, I was saying bluegrass, not green grass.
Which you can get a lot of in Colorado too. You know?
And some musicians throughout history have been known to dabble here and there, you know.
Willie Nelson loves Colorado.
And another thing I do want to mention, and this goes back into Latin heritage and music influence. Jaco Pastorius, amazing bassist. If you go back to Weather Report, he hands down he's the guy trying to emulate my bass playing off of. But he grew up in Miami, and the only station he was able to get on the radio was coming from Cuba. So he learned how to play bass, playing to the horns of Latin music that he was getting coming over that radio. So when you listen to everybody, when they hear him as a bassist, oh, it was revolutionary, everything he did on that particular instrument. Basically what he did, he turned the bass into like a horn instrument, like a lead instrument. He comes in on a lot of the fifths and stuff like that. That normally you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to jump in on this. And he's like, no, we're going to hit it like this and we're going full boat. Different modes, different keys, you know. So
Absolutely. I watched the other day, I was in my home theater going through some things, and I watched a special, a PBS special, and it was the famous composer, Tony Succar, a Latino. They did a whole concert on Michael Jackson. It was a tribute to Michael Jackson in Latin music. It was all salsa, hosted by Sheila E. And they did an amazing job. I mean, some of Michael's greatest songs into salsa, all led and inspired by Tony Succar. It was a phenomenal special.
Look it up on YouTube. I've seen some of that stuff.
And again, just goes to show how far music is going now. It can just, especially with the Latin, the Latin music, and for us to be able to fuse certain sounds with other artists and do things of that nature, it's just amazing. It's just amazing to see it, and it makes me very proud because I'm working in salsa now, which I never thought I'd be doing full time on my label, But it seems like the salsa music just took us to another level, and being able to see Tony Succar and doing things of that nature just inspires me to go even harder with Fuego and what we're doing, because it's limitless. It's limitless what you can do with with the salsa music. We did Ray's song, What It Be Like, and we brought in Django, and the first verse is all Ray in English with that R&B hip hop vibe, and then he comes in and it just made the record pop. Everybody who heard it was like, wow, that was a good collab. It just sounds really good. And then the Will Smith, Mark Anthony and Bad Bunny song, that transcended urban music. It was just a salsa, a hip hop, and a reggaeton guy together on one song out of Miami that just went number one and just went crazy. So it's good to see that we can do that.
Now you're playing on 3 different radio stations, different genders.
That is correct.
One song.
That is correct.
Well,
We're
there
on
was
pop
like
radio, R&B radio, Latin radio.
what was the one that they were fighting if it belongs in hip hop, belongs in the Old Town Road.
Old Town Road.
Yeah. Old Town.
Old Town
No
Road.
Nas X. That's what it is.
Yeah. So it's like, well, they're playing it on country. That doesn't belong on country. And then they go and play it on.
94.5.
Yeah. They play it on mainstream. They play it on it. They didn't know where to put that song, so it really ended up everywhere.
Record labels do not like the term diversity. They don't like when your music is diverse because of that same reason, Rob. Where are we going with it? Where are we pushing it? How do we push it? Lil Nas X.
It was gonna go number 1.
It
went on the country charts.
Right.
But when you do it that way, a lot of times I don't feel
Billy Ray
it's-
Cyrus, right?
Yeah.
Ray Cyrus on there.
I do feel it is somewhere else from above, because I've played with all kinds of musicians from all different places, and when we get in a room together, And you'd think guys that can sit there for 3-4 hours at a time and just play a set off the top of their head would know what to play. You get in a group full of musicians, like, what do we do? Oh, I don't know. And then someone starts playing something, and you come up with, who knows what it is? It could be rock that takes on a Latin tone with dumping overbeat behind it. It's like you don't know where it's gonna go, but that's the great thing about music. So what else you got coming on? Now is that out for people to see?
Yes, you can get all the music I've talked about on bigfate.com. It's BIGFAYT. Big Fate on Spotify, iTunes, and Tidal too. BIGFAYT. The project that me and my partner are working on is gonna be called Ugly Faith. That'll be on my website as well. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming up.
Awesome. Keep it going, man.
Thank
Keep
you.
it going. Yeah, keep it going.
Yeah, thanks a lot for letting us hang out here.
Yes, cool.
No problem.
studio,
You guys
man.
are welcome anytime.
You don't know us. You don't want.
Yeah, if we come back, we're gonna start dancing.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, we just put a
We'll
little thing.
clear it out. We'll get the dance floor going.
Yeah.
We'll throw some Orchestra Fuego on, and we'll get it blazing. But remember, orchestrafuego.com, DavilleEntertainment.com. All social media is the same thing. Daville Entertainment, Tony Delavora, myself, of course, and be looking for the new singles. Baila Mi Salsa dropped today. Mi Ritmo dropped last week on the 7th. Well, on the 7th, a couple of weeks ago. They're all doing well. Follow us on Spotify.
You're gonna have
Follow us
something
on
for Christmas?
Facebook.
You're gonna have something for Christmas?
We got the big show at the Orlando Forum. We're headlining the Orlando Forum, December 26th. That'll be that Saturday. We'll be, closing out the COVID year, if you will, with a big show. October 10th, we're up in Tampa with
the taste
the food, the Latin food and music fest. We'll be performing there.
good friend Johnny. That's with Johnny Gonzalez.
Yes, so we're just doing a lot of.
Is that gonna be in
A lot
Ybor
of
City
shows.
or it's gonna be somewhere else?
The cigar festival will be in Ybor City.
Okay, yeah.
The October 10th will not be in Ybor City. But again, we just, as of right now, we got 8 shows booked for the rest of the year that kind of came back last minute since Florida opened up this past month.
It
Yeah,
sounds like
that's
the one on the
huge.
26th. You'll need to get tickets fast because we are opening up. I can't wait to go out and start dancing. My wife and I have been talking about that lately. Can't wait to go out and just dance a little bit.
Just to
I mean,
see live music,
live
local music. And guys, go out and support your local musicians.
Yes,
support
yes.
some of your local studios.
Yes.
And we were talking about it earlier. I've played with some guys that I feel I've never had any business being on the same stage with, that are hands down, you're going to find local musicians just because they're not famous doesn't mean that they can't play. Like I said, I've played with guys that have completely blown me away, is standing right next to me. So go out, support your local music. Look these guys up. Black Rose Studios. So we'll get all this information. We'll have it all into the description and everything below, all the links. And that way, get out and see some live music. Check out some new stuff. Do your homework. Put your stuff together so that way you're not paying to sit on this couch all day like we are. So, but make use of it if you do have something behind it. And can you also help as far as like businesses that may want to put out, say, a small piece or something for like jingles or ads or something
Absolutely.
like that?
We do it all. We do it all. If you want to, once you see all the description that, Rob will provide, or Black Rose Studios, we can help you with anything. Production, songwriting, consulting. And I tell you one piece of advice. If you're doing music, no matter where you go, if the white paper is not right, your green paper will never be right. So make sure that you
heard that here first, baby.
Make sure you get your contracts and everything in order. If that white paper's not
And
right,
he's talking about this green
that
paper.
green paper. That's right. Hopefully more than the dollar bills that we showed you. Hopefully some 20s.
I'm hiding, man.
But absolutely.
But yeah, so don't think of it as just for music, but they can use music for your business. Something you
correct.
can put something behind the pictures on your website,
Behind the
or
scenes, scores,
you name
music
it.
captures, jingles, absolutely.
So remember, you heard it here on Crema de Nona. Check these guys out, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
I just wanna know, I just wanna know, I just wanna know, I just wanna know, I just wanna know what it be, what it be, what it be like. I just wanna know what it be like. I just wanna know what it be like. I just wanna know what it be, what it be, what it be like. I just wanna know what it be like. I just wanna know what it be like. I see you looking and staring, wait on me to make a move. When I'm with you, I'm in heaven. I can keep my hands off you. Your body is a blessing. I just wanna keep you in my presence. Baby, you need a nigga that's gon' treat you right. Keep your needs weak, I'll leave you satisfied. What you sippin', let's catch a vibe. Then later on, you can catch a ride. Better than Uber and Lyft and 5-star shit. The way she biting her lips, she ready for it. The bigger they are, the harder they hit. I can guarantee you ain't had it like this. I know you wanna know what it be like. I'm about to change your life. I just wanna know what it be, what it be, what it be like. I just wanna know what it be like. I just wanna know what it be like. I just wanna know what it be, what it be, what it be like. I just wanna know what it be like. I just wanna know what it be like.
Yeah, yeah, yo quiero saber cómo es que esto será. Bebecita, deja la curiosidad. Que para estremecer los cuerpos no hay que esperar una edad. Tú estás pa' mí, yo estoy pa' ti. Lo demás solo se da. Piensa que los dos estamos dentro de una serie donde los capítulos son interperies. Todo el mundo mirando, pero ya yo te ligué. No te hagas la difícil, ahora dime qué es lo que sigue. Segundo paso, estás caliente y se te nota. Si tú fumaras, te digo que por las notas. Sin yo tocarte, mira cómo mueve esa nalgota. Como lo dice el guayna, rebota, rebota. Entramos al cuarto y empezamos en lo serio. Ella es de urba, pero yo soy de caserío. Así que mami, ves quitándote la ropa, que esta noche hay luna llena y entierro sin cementerio.
I just wanna know, I just wanna know, I just wanna know, I just wanna know,
Thanks for watching. See ya!